She didn't deserve this. And no one deserves, to be assaulted at a hospital while you're sleeping. You're supposed to feel safe.
The hospital called Tanisha to tell her of the attack and that her mother went into emergency surgery for her wounds. 2 weeks later, she died.
It's heartbreaking. Like, I'm broken inside. My mom was my support system. She was really all I had.
A woman who was seeking medical care is instead beaten to death while she was sleeping in her hospital room.
"55-year-old Cynthia Van was known by those who loved her as a kind-hearted and deeply supportive woman. She shared a truly special bond with her only daughter. They were more than just family. They were best friends who did almost everything together. No matter what life threw at her, including years of health challenges, Cynthia never lost the warmth in her heart or the light in her spirit. She had been eagerly looking forward to her 56th birthday, which was just around the corner on October 9th. Plans were already in motion to celebrate the day, surrounded by family and friends, something she truly cherished. As part of her ongoing treatment, Cynthia checked into Lincoln Hospital, located in the Mott Haven neighborhood of the Bronx, to receive care for her liver. It was supposed to be just another step in managing her condition, but tragically, what was meant to be a routine hospital stay turned into something no one could have imagined. On September 10th, Tanisha Van received a phone call that would forever change her life. On the other end of the line was Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx, delivering news no one should ever have to hear. Her mother, 55-year-old Cynthia Van, had been attacked while she lay asleep in her hospital bed. According to hospital staff, Cynthia had been viciously beaten by her hospital roommate, someone later revealed to have a known history of violent behavior. Cynthia suffered severe blunt force trauma to the head. Doctors rushed her into emergency surgery in a desperate attempt to save her life. But despite their efforts, her injuries were simply too grave. After spending 17 days fighting for her life, Cynthia passed away on September 27th. Her death was immediately ruled a homicide. The news sent shockwaves through her family. Cynthia had entered the hospital for liver treatment, routine care she hoped would help her feel better and get back to enjoying life. Instead, her daughter is now planning a funeral, just weeks before what should have been Cynthia's 56th birthday celebration. Hospital officials informed Tanisha that her mother's attacker, still unidentified, had a documented history of violent behavior. For Tanisha, that revelation was nothing short of infuriating. How could someone with a known violent past be placed in a shared hospital room with no apparent precautions? How could such a brutal assault happen, unnoticed in a medical facility that was supposed to keep patients safe? This horrifying case drew even more concern when, just days later, a similarly tragic incident occurred at a nursing home in Coney Island. On September 14th, 95-year-old Galina Smirnova, who suffers from dementia, fatally bludgeoned her 89-year-old roommate, Nina Kravtsov, with a metal wheelchair pedal at Seagate Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. Kravtsov, a Holocaust survivor, was found with devastating head injuries and died the next morning at Brooklyn Hospital. Smirnova was later charged with murder and weapon possession and is currently being held at Bellevue Hospital's jail ward. These back-to-back tragedies raise urgent questions about safety protocols in medical and long-term care facilities, particularly when it comes to housing patients with a known history of aggression or mental illness. Now, in the wake of her mother's death, Tanisha Vaughn is demanding answers and accountability. She believes her mother was failed by the very institution that was supposed to protect her. Instead of celebrating her mother's birthday, she's left grieving a devastating loss and searching for justice. According to Tanisha, Cynthia was more than just a mother. She was her best friend, her emotional rock, her entire world. She was all she had. Now she's been taken away from her in the most brutal and senseless way imaginable. Police sources say the woman responsible for Cynthia's death fled the hospital and is currently on the run. Her identity has not yet been released to the public. The NYPD has confirmed that the case is being actively investigated as a homicide. But one pressing question remains. If hospital staff were aware of the patient's violent history, why was she placed in a shared room in the first place? Why wasn't there any supervision or security to ensure the safety of others around her? As of now, the hospital has not issued a public statement explaining their decision, or what, if any, safety measures were in place to protect Cynthia and others. Cynthia Van's death has left her loved ones devastated and the public searching for answers. Her story is a tragic reminder that vulnerable patients deserve more than care. They deserve protection, and no one should ever fear for their life while receiving treatment in a hospital.
Cynthia's daughter, Tanisha, tells me her mother was attacked in her sleep by her roommate.
I'm angry, with the hospital that they allowed this situation to happen.
Tanisha tells me her mom had so many plans for the future, but that was cut short.
She has a birthday coming up on the 9th. She will be 56. That's difficult as well.
Instead of planning a birthday celebration for mom, she's planning her funeral.
It's just, she didn't deserve that.
News 12 reached out to Lincoln Hospital, but we have not heard back.
A community garden that she helped start with her friend Rosalie Toledo will now be named in her honor. Rosalie had planned to visit Cynthia in the hospital, but sadly she found out Cynthia had passed away before she got the chance. She actually learned the heartbreaking news while watching television, which made it even more shocking. The whole community is feeling a mix of pain, sadness, and confusion, but they don't want Cynthia to be remembered just for how she died. Instead, they want people to remember the kind, loving person she was. The garden will now be a place that keeps her spirit alive, a reminder of all the good she brought to others.
Rosalie was planning on visiting Cynthia in the hospital until she saw the tragic story on News 12.
I was on my way to go visit her to the hospital, but I got to see the television when I heard the news.
She was left speechless, hearing the brutal murder of her dear friend.
It hurts.
The community now feeling pain and confusion.
It's very painful. It shouldn't have happened, and I don't know how.
As for the alleged killer, she's still on the run.
Wow. A maniac on the loose. So sad.
Rosalie doesn't want this tragedy to be how Cynthia is remembered. Instead,
I started to do a project in her memory.
Although the hospital has chosen not to comment on the incident, I sincerely hope that Cynthia Van's family and friends receive the justice they deserve. It's crucial that the person responsible is found and held accountable so that no other family has to endure a loss like this. More importantly, I hope the hospital takes a hard look at its policies and procedures regarding patient safety and makes the necessary changes to prevent something like this from ever happening again. Rest in peace, Cynthia Van.